sit over there.
We're gonna, I got another meeting later on after this one, 2 o'clock downtown, so I wanna get started. And I know we got a couple of things to do. I know Tony Jam's gotta get in a plane like in 30 minutes or something like that.
Not a plane, but on the road.
You're gonna leave?
Damn, right up here. Just
No, Ali's just waiting for him out there.
Vegas, baby.
Hold it for me, man. Come on.
So I know we got a lot of things to discuss. Main thing, we got a quorum because there's some action items that we have to, that we want to take care of. Mr.
Joaquin.
Mr. Garza, Rick will not be able to make it, nor Mr. Jacobs. So we're gonna have to, between you all, decide who will be the chair for now to control the meeting. So
Anybody wearing a tie?
Ahorita
Oh,
we'll-
hey.
So right now we'll make sure you all sign in, and then we will check roll, and then I guess Mr. Rodriguez, you will call the meeting to
Yes,
order,
sir.
okay?
Yeah, we're gonna be calling this meeting to order. This is the Mandel Golf Course Advisory Committee. We already have the agenda items, so let's get started. So let's start with roll call, all right? So.
Okay.
The,
I'll go ahead and do the roll call.
Yes, sir, thank you.
All right, Mr. Burrows Light,
Here.
Mr. Roberto Mancha, Mr. Rick Garza, Mr. Louis Pellegrin.
Here.
Mr. Gary Jacobs,
Absent. Mr. Ricardo Farias Contreras.
Absent.
José Antonio Martínez.
Here.
All right. Fernando Rodriguez.
Here.
And Joaquin Rodriguez.
Present.
All right.
All right, that roll call?
Roll call.
And if I'm not mistaken, sir, we do have a quorum?
That's correct.
There's at least 5 members present? Fantastic. So, the next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes for the meeting of April 14th, 2022.
if you all will look at your folders, gentlemen, there's the minutes there, if you wanna, and so give it to him so he can sign it once we get it to. I guess you all can start eating también, while we're having the discussions here, guys.
I was not present at this meeting. For those that were present, do these meetings look accurate? Do these minutes look accurate for the last meeting?
Fernando, you were here. Right? I think Fernando, you were the only one here. The minutes, do they look good? Because you were one of the ones here that meeting.
Yeah, I was here.
Okay, now does anyone want to move to approve the minutes of last meeting? Okay, we have one.
I second.
Second, okay. All in favor of the approval of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so minutes for the meeting of April 14, 2022 have been approved.
At the very end, there's a signature for your signature on the last page of the minutes.
Yes, sir. I don't have a pen on.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Here you go.
Thank you so much.
Oh, he's got one. He's got one.
Oh, fantastic.
Damn, gold? Solid gold? Yeah.
Not even.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. All right. So, anyone here for public comments? Do we have anyone who signed up for public comments? I believe that they have to sign up right before the meeting commences, correct?
That's correct. Nobody has signed up, Mr. Chair.
No one signed up? All right, so then we'll skip public comment. There's no public comments for today. Let's go to item 4, items for discussion with possible action. According to the agenda, there's about 4 items. So let's start with item 1, all right? And that's propose a dollar amount for the balance of the capital contribution fund with getting below $35,000.
Okay, I'll start that, and then Dennis can kind of feed into. So, as you all aware, for every round that's paid there at the max, $1 goes towards the capital
Contribution.
capital contribution fund. So we recently tapped into it, $80,000. We had 115,000, 111,000 around there. We tapped in $80,000 for the fixture of the pumps that we need to get. And is that correct, Dennis?
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
what,
sir.
can you tell me what was that money exactly? What's it used for?
It was initially for airification, the pumps,
Mm-hmm.
the river pump,
Okay.
And I think some extra sand, if I'm not mistaken. But that was kind of just, it wasn't that much money, but we had money in the actual budget.
So we
for that.
went right up to about 80,000 that we used, we're still a little bit?
Yeah, we've completed the pumps, which was about 46,
Mhm.
and the crane was about 4 or 5.
Okay.
And then right now we just, have you all been out there lately? You can hear the river pump starting like, rah, 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 rah. Those are the exact noises. And so we already got a quote we got with Ms. Landine, and we're already talking to them, and it's just a matter of them going out there and going ahead and fixing it so that we avoid that, because that's our life source.
Now, are these pumps just outdated or?
No, they just, I mean, it's down in
Regular wear and
it's
tear?
down in a
Yes.
very hostile environment. You know, it's,
Yeah, of course, it's starting to get to that point where it's about getting to 12 years, I think, when they started it.
How often is this maintenance? Is it a maintenance thing or
Yeah,
replacement?
No, it's a replacement.
It's a replacement.
no, this is a rebuild.
Rebuild.
This bearings, and I'm hoping it makes it through. They were going to pull the pup on Monday.
The one,
So I
this
hope-
is the one at the river. The other one's already done.
Now, go to that note just real quick. We did find that the valve, so we can have the other
Diverted from Mr.
diverted. So
Jacobs.
we turned it on today. Everything works good.
Yeah.
So when they pull the pump Monday, Pedro, the rancher, is going to turn his
From Mr. Jacobs' property.
pump on. It goes through our meter. We're still charged for that water, and we should be good.
Yeah, this was something that was planned way ahead of time in case we ever did come to this issue,
Right.
where Mr. Jacobs' pump would go ahead and divert water through a channel that they built or whatever and take it to our lake, through our water meter and into the lake, so that we would never have to stop wiring. So they can take 2 or 3 days to fix it, come back, turn it on, we switch the diverter, it goes back to our original pump through our meter.
So
it's
lack of water, there should never be, no lack of water,
Should never be an
lack source of water.
And then we even have a tertiary, which is for the greens, right, which is the city system.
Yeah, we actually have a city hookup with double check valves, everything in case of super emergency, or possibly in the future doing some flushing without the river water.
So we have a fair amount of.
Backups.
We have,
backups
yeah,
and
we
enough
can
water.
survive.
We're doing this daily? The waters go on?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. The river
Summer.
pump's on, it's on 12, like 17 hours, 16 hours a day.
Especially with this heat, man.
Yeah, and then we leave it on from 2 in the afternoon till 8 in the morning. Bless you.
Thanks.
And it sucks it down pretty quick. And then in the morning, we turn it back on at 2 when we leave, and you know.
Okay, so this 80,000 that we allotted to the, for all these maintenance, it can be used for any improvement of the golf course, the clubhouse. So what we're asking here is that either you, let's say we have a turnover of council members, myself, or anybody, that we don't let that fund go below $35,000. In other words, $35,000 is the,
Yeah, unless it's.
That's zero
that's
balance.
zero balance, in other words. So, unless you all have another amount that you all wanted to, to change, then I think that's what we're trying to discuss here now on item number 1, is that 35,000 is a minimum that we can tap in, that we can leave there, like I said, zero balance for that account.
So 35,000, I mean, what sort of things could that even take care of? Because that would be emergency funds if we needed it. What kind of stuff could that tap into?
At this point, it would just have to be another pump issue, another irrigation issue, really. I mean, everything else is covered by insurance. Let's say the clubhouse, well, it's covered by insurance. So.
The stains that you had on your cookies, did they go away?
Yes.
Yeah, they fixed it.
good.
Yeah.
And what sort of warranties do we get when we buy these pumps? Is there any manufacturer?
It's a 3-year. It's a 3-year.
warranty.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
industry standard, 3 years?
Yes.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is they're going to be a quote, because of the amount of silt going through there, they're going to give me a quote on every 6 months coming down for maintenance when they back flush it and do all that. And what I'll probably do is we'll have the guys there and I'll learn how to do it eventually. I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
So just to touch on the silt issue, because I know we talked about it, that's another issue, is that the lake is so small that they pump the water from the river. The silt never gets to settle. Then the thing starts sucking the pump to go to the irrigation on the golf course. More silt, which I think we've run into. The tests show that there is a lot of silt that shouldn't be there, and it's coming in through
It's
that.
about 2 times higher than the highest you would want on a green.
What about a settling pond?
That's what
That's what we're.
maybe
that's
next
what
to
you're
it.
doing?
Yeah, or our super high-tech filter, and that's something that I'm looking into.
Mhm.
But yeah, it never has time to settle, especially in the summer.
So that high-tech filter would filter out certain levels of microns, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then back flush it back into the lake, or they might even have it where it flushes out onto the ground.
Wow.
And then you just take your tractor and pick up the sediments over time.
How much is that thing?
Probably about 50 or 60.
Oh, I like the hole better. Settling pond.
Hey, it would make 17 a lot harder because you would build it next to it.
It would, yeah, your
And
land
if I'm not mistaken, I think
area over the
Gary was
100,000
even
would be
willing to
very
maybe give
small.
us some more land.
It would look
right
like a new
there
hole to most people.
I'm not
What?
positive about that.
There's a fairway over here?
Yeah.
to go towards the property.
No, that too
I
short.
guess east.
On hole 17?
Yeah.
Oh.
What, that is más o menos, I know it can't put it up, but how much money goes in a year into that fund
It's
on
pretty
the average?
About 16,000, which is about, we average anywhere from 15 to 16,000.
Yeah, right now it's at nothing, right?
No, right now it's at 38, 39.
Right now it's 38.
Nothing.
Yeah,
That's
technically
pretty
it's
much
almost
nothing,
zero.
yeah.
So we hadn't utilized those funds
For a
in
while.
years.
Well, we used them about 2 years ago. We tapped in to do something. With
A little bit.
But it was a little bit, not this
Yeah.
big of a drastic.
Talking about raising another dome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and
we're
that's
gonna go
what's-
into the next one there.
Yeah, which I
Right,
think,
so just to give you all an idea, gentlemen, like you said, about $16,000 come a year on that $1 fee. All right, so to get back to where we are right now, we were 111, it's do the math, right?
Yeah.
Carry the one or whatever it is.
Yeah,
All right, so that's another reason, which one of the action items, but let's go do number one. I think if everybody, you want to make a motion
Are there
to.
any other comments or concerns or questions dealing with item 1? No? Okay, so is there anyone who will make a motion to, I guess, approve the dollar amount or the balance not getting below 35,000 in the capital contribution fund?
But you're good with no more money? in the-
yeah, I mean, right now we're good. You know, we can also build stuff into the budget. We've got a new budget coming in that, hey, let's just do it through the budget. You know, there's certain
Okay.
things that,
And do you have anything in place that if you have an emergency
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna go below the 35,000, you don't have anything?
no, this is the first time we're talking about it, because this is the first time.
Now,
Yeah.
we can add that clause to
It needs to have something in there
Yeah,
where.
in case for an emergency reasons for,
Golf
for.
committee can say 5 agree.
Yeah, you can take up to 5,000 or 10,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Without. having to come
Committee
forward.
approval. It needs
Right,
to be
upon
committee.
upon
There would have
committee
to be
approval.
committee
Yeah, because.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
perfect.
Because now we lock it up at 35,000 and that's it.
No, that's-
We
Yeah,
can't have-
and
Yeah,
that's.
well, maybe next meeting, we can just.
Have an escape
You can
clause.
come up
Escape
with
clause.
something
Yes.
and
Yeah,
then.
Yes.
and that's the original reason, because this
Yeah,
money before us, or before landscapes, was handled by the people and they had the access to it. And I think at one point they went and bought a truck for the golf course, right? But they went and paid cash for it. And then they, back to zero. So I think the city was like, hey, you guys are leaving, let's change the rules, which
Okay.
makes sense, right? I mean, at least some sort of approval, like, from you guys is,
Yeah,
I mean,
just
you.
to track the money.
Exactly.
Okay. So anyone want to make a motion on?
Go ahead.
Item 1?
There's your-
Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, okay, a second?
I'll second.
Dedicate second. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Unanimous? All right. So item 1 is, the dollar amount is $35,000. That cannot get below $35,000. And next meeting, I guess for purposes of our minutes, we will decide whether or not there's going to be, an escape clause for that particular.
A certain amount of escape clause.
Correct.
And if we can list what can be, because if we just leave it for whatever, we have to
Not
make a list of
We're
what
gonna
can.
define what an emergency is.
Right, that's correct.
Bridge washout.
Yeah.
Well, I think you'd be the best one to tell us
Yeah,
what,
you'd be the
what
one
are
that-
emergencies that,
Right.
yeah, that need to get handled.
Immediate.
I don't know.
Irrigation and bridge repair.
Yeah, we'll make a list. And
That
have
would,
a list.
and insurance might cover that, but we need to get it fixed quickly.
Right.
So do we pay for it and let the insurance pay us back?
Yeah.
What, you know,
Right.
We'll deal with that next time.
Just come up with a list with them so they can have something to
Yeah,
approve
For
that.
next meeting.
Excuse me,
Okay.
members,
Yes.
is, excuse me, approval of the amount not getting below 35, and then on the next meeting, an escape clause will be determined?
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Landine,
Yes?
Yes.
and it's nice seeing you again.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so item 2, raising the capital contribution fee to $2.
Okay, so as you all know, I just mentioned right now for every round, there's $1. So on the average, we get about $15,000 by that $1. Okay, if passed by the committee, we will raise the amount of that money to $2 to go into, now we're making about 35,000
A year.
around there,
We're doubling up.
and we're doubling up, right? And, we can make up that money that we just spent, in 2 years or 3 on the average if we keep it around the same. So that being said, if that's the case, then I have to go take it to council that anytime the budget changes, the money changes, I gotta go take it to council. So that, you know, to make a resolution to be able to up that fee with the request of the committee, you know, so that's what, unless you all have any other, you know, amount or anything like that, or it's up to
So the
you all.
average go up
So the green fees will go up by $1.
Correct.
$1.
Now, if there's ever, I'm so
No,
sorry
go
to
ahead.
interrupt. So if there's ever, like right now, because of the way the greens are, I assume that we're not, is everyone paying full price for the green?
It's $29.99 right now, all day.
$29.99. Okay, so if there's ever a reduction in price for some unforeseen reason, the capital contribution amount will still remain the
Always
same,
remains the same,
correct?
yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so $29.99.
Plus capital contribution and tax.
Oh, so you had, so on top of that
Yeah.
is the capital contribution and tax.
And you have that hole-in-one on par?
They went out of business, so that's why we no longer charge swing. We're supposedly someone's gonna take it over and they're gonna come and offer us another contract.
Made hole-in-ones or what?
I think there was just, I mean, think about it, they probably made about $12,000 from us after paying out. So they were making a lot of money, they probably mishandled it or something, but,
So that was being tacked into the green fee?
Yeah.
so you had the option to.
Oh, you had the option.
Yeah.
Well, if you knew about it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
most people will not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had a sign there.
You have the option of taking it out.
Out now.
Yeah.
We had a guy
And then you
take
hit the
it,
hole in one.
we had a girl that took it out and then she made the whole.
No
thing.
way.
And we got the video and sent it to her, here you go.
Gee, they're rubbing it in.
Yeah.
How many rounds are you getting out there now? Is it going up, down? in
Well, we were
between?
up because of COVID, and
Yeah.
we're definitely seeing the change because everything's open now. So we're back to about 15,
And the
15 to, yeah.
And
it's
consistent.
hot.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
way
we're back to the
So,
same.
what kind of message will you send out to the clients, the potential golfers?
In regards to the
in
capital.
regards to the capital.
So
to the increase?
we're gonna go ahead and put a sign and we can decide a date. I mean, you still don't know because you gotta take it to council and all that. So the idea would be, let's say, well, we're
Starting
already
September
June.
1st. Más o menos
Starting
be September
1st. There will be an increase for capital contributions, but we're also gonna put there, this is what your capital contributions have provided for, new
Oh.
pumps.
And this is what they're gonna be for.
I don't think you'll get a lot of pushback, do you?
A little bit.
Council?
Oh, not from.
No, not from council.
Now when you do
But
it,
from
it's
the-
$29.99.
Yeah,
No, you're looking at
Yeah.
31?
yeah.
Yeah.
But next meeting, we'll have a list of what those
Well, it's only
capital
$1.
funds will be
Yeah.
used
Yeah,
for in the
$1. Yeah,
future.
that's right.
So
Yeah.
30.99.
I don't think
That's
you'll get
what
a lot of-
It'd be nice
Yeah.
if we can do it.
What
for
does
that.
Casablanca do? Excuse me.
As far, they don't, I don't think they have a capital contribution.
No.
They do not.
No.
I will say
What are
this,
greens fees out there?
They're
Green
almost
fees-
similar now.
But
Almost
these are not
similar.
weekend green fees, are they?
No, these are weekday.
Weekdays. The weekends is 40.
45 to 50, 54 to 45.
Right now, with the,
Yeah.
even though,
Still a
with
pretty
the work
good
we've done?
Yeah, we kept them at the same price. Nobody really, Paga's the only one that called, and we did give them a little better rate. But then they went to Casablanca next week, so it's like,
No loyalty to us.
no loyalty.
I will say this.
It's a two-way
though.
street, tell them.
Yeah.
If you want everyone to be on board with the charge,
Mhm.
the $1, I know it's not a lot, but it's a dollar charge, and you know, some people, if you go up $1, there's,
Yeah,
you get a little upset. Along with the list of the things that the capital contribution, does take care of,
Mhm.
you need to show some level of improvement
Mhm.
with what's been going on.
correct.
So photos, if you can
Mhm.
include on the sign there with photos of what's
Mhm.
before and after,
Yeah.
The pumps.
that's
The
gonna
pump, we have
be-
all the pump stations.
that is going to be much better. I think people would be fine with
I agree
paying
with you.
$1 more, but there has to
When
be
they
some
see it.
improvement. They have to see it.
Yeah.
It's not enough just to tell them, you have to show them.
Yeah, that's what I said, we're gonna post it.
Show him
there.
the river clams, the where surrounded.
That was-
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Or make the silt like a monster, like Ghostbuster style, you know? Got rid of it.
And I think, I know, as you all know, and I brought this up, me being a baseball guy, the infield is the most important things. In golf, the greens are the most important thing. Because the first thing is you go, just think, hey, the first thing they ask you, how are the greens?
Yeah.
You all know that, guys. You know, how are the greens? If we can get those up to standard and par, and I know we got a couple of, I talked to Dave yesterday, and, he kind of gives me a report card, hey, we're doing, we're at 70%. If we can get starting there, working there, and I think that's going to turn off a lot of these fires and a lot of these concerns.
All of them.
Right. Because the main thing is the greens. That's what we.
The
need
rest
to
of the
spend.
course is amazing.
Yeah, it is
Yeah, it
nice.
is. Because the thing is, like, everyone ends up on the green, whether you hit it in the fairway.
Whether you're
slide
there
to
in
the
8 or
right,
whether you're in 4.
everyone ends on the green.
Eventually.
Eventually, más o menos.
Más o
Some
menos.
quicker than others, right?
Yeah.
It's good now.
I mean, there's some spots, but.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, for the next
not
meeting,
like
if we can meet at the max,
Yeah.
because there's
The last-
things that Dave sees that he's explained to me that you're like, oh, I see what you're talking about. They're called runners, and I didn't know. When you see the little runners, where the issues are with the green, and will those runners turn into more runners and more runners, and then it gets replaced, so that you can see that, oh, okay, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, as opposed to, hey, you don't know, it just still looks like a little bit of algae on there, right?
So this
Oh,
is what's
you
damaging
run
our
it or
greens
the
right now?
grass?
That's what
runners?
we've come to the conclusion of from the tests that we've ran and all that good stuff. We've always had algae, and we've always kind of avoided it.
Worked
Before
through it.
Mark Soto left, he gutted our nursery and replaced everything. He goes, I'm gonna leave it as good as I can, Dennis. The next guy will have to come and fix the nursery, which was Tom, which never could get it done because hurricane hit and then COVID hit, and there was no grass. When the hurricane hit over there by Dallas, where we get our grass, it flooded it, everything was gone. And then COVID hit and couldn't get grass. Luckily, me and David drove to Houston, bought 3 pallets, barely in time because they got hit by 6 inches of rain right after we left. So again, now we gotta wait another, I don't know, maybe 3 more weeks before they can go in there because it's so wet to get the rest out. We wanna get 3 more pallets to build him his nursery, number 1, and number 2, fit some other big areas that we can fix just to get it going faster.
Yeah,
And these runners, it's not a regular occurrence. This is the first time we've seen them?
No, the runners are the
runners are
grass.
good
The grass growing.
Yeah, it's the grass growing. You see the little line of
they
grass?
grow about 1/8 inch in a day. If
That's,
it's happy.
that's a normal thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
so
that's
we've
a
been
good
on
thing.
we've been on the program since I got the first soil test. It was just about salt, and we didn't make really any we got improved, but we didn't make much improvements for the following year. So I went back and we got the silt test and we got the bug test, and the bugs came back 300% higher than the highest level you can have on a green. Those are nematodes. They're microscopic bugs. They're just eating. So what happens is the silt doesn't let the water go down. Like you can water 10 minutes and water be standing on the greens. It doesn't do that right now. We aerify it, so it's getting down. We're using acid-based products, foliar products, and then now we're finally getting to a granular. Granular is, I like granular better. It shows a more quicker response. So now we got the calcium broke down. So now the plant can take in the nutrients we're giving
It
it.
reaches the nutrient.
We're using an all organic spray for the bugs. Everything's organic that we're using. So it's all organic spray. It's horseradish and sesame seed oil, and it's strong. And it gets rid of it. It just knocks them down. So we got 2 more apps of that. So we'll be on the 17th week, I'm sorry. And we just got to keep doing it. We can't stop what we're doing.
So, I mean, I don't want to take more time, but this is how this all came about also. I went to regionals to see the high schools play because my daughter was playing in there. And I went to, what's the name of the golf course?
Palmview.
Palmview, which has a different name now. Had the most beautiful greens I ever saw. So I called David. I go, hey, you need to call this superintendent and get with him. He goes, hey, let me call my chemical guy. Our chemical guy is their chemical guy. He goes, I'm going to put you in the same program. They had the same issues you had X amount of years ago. And they were the most beautiful greens I had ever seen in my life. So that's why I understand that we have to stick to the plan because they went through that process as well. So, I mean, we talked about even maybe taking a trip out there so you guys could see it. But if that's the result we get from being in this program, I mean, we're gonna have to wait anyway. But I think we can see again the light at the end of the tunnel, where this might be something that we get rid of this every year with a black plague that we have and the nematode spraying for them early. So
Yeah,
hopefully,
it's not fun
And the
for anybody.
nematodes, it comes through the river when you
The
pump the
nematodes?
water, or it's just sitting there?
The nematodes?
Yeah,
Oh, they come in from, it could have been a plug off the green over there. It could have been, they'll spread too. Like if you aerify and you leave the plugs in instead of washing it, which you wouldn't think to wash them between each green if you didn't know they were there. Then you could spread it to another green. Number 1 was a big deal because we aerified it. We went up the hill and that hill got worse. So I'm thinking we carried the bugs up. When they're that high, I mean, they're detrimental. I mean,
no, and you can look it up in golf greens. Is the first thing that you see, nematodes. It's, I don't know, but you'll see it on Friday. You're on playing Friday. You'll see the difference already on hole number 1. You can see it already. It's been 3-4 weeks.
like last year, we never really got the bottom, the red pin good last year. And now it's probably the best part of the green.
It's getting there.
So we're doing the right things.
Good.
So, I mean, as far as, if some greens aren't ready, have you all done temporary greens? I mean, is it bad for I guess the the healing of these greens to have human contact?
No,
No, it's
not
not?
really, no.
Okay, so there's no issue, there's not gonna be any temporary greens or anything
No.
like that? Okay.
We've gotten to the point like that you can actually put a flag in a certain area and have a good 10 by 10, 15 by 15 area to be able to, hit the green. So if you're not accurate with your irons, sorry. No.
We can move the pins around on the greens now.
Yeah.
We aren't stuck to one
18
spot.
looks like a whole different green from a month ago.
Oh,
It's
awesome.
crazy how much it's
You
improved.
can put a pin anywhere on 18 now.
Yeah, so it's coming along. Some are taking longer than others, but as you know, 12 has always been a big issue for us. They went and did Mesquite Trenching because they thought the roots in the mesquite, this was 5-6 years ago, were getting to the green and sucking the nutrients in the water. That didn't turn in. Mark Soto had a windstorm before he left. He took down 2 trees that he felt were creating a lot of shade and not allowing the green to dry, hence creating that mildew or algae, whatever you want to call it. Didn't really work. It's been a constant battle, but the nematodes makes more sense now, which, like I said, the little yellow lines is what,
Yeah, it's
Some
diagnose
people
and
are-
treat, man, it's
Mhm.
diagnose and treat, right, like,
yeah.
And some people are glad
How
the
could
tree's
you-
gone though.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think we're on a great program, and we're gonna stick to it. And the only thing we need to do maybe for this year's budget is look at, I'm really thinking about overseeding with bent grass and Poetry Realis. I had a friend of mine
Yeah,
in
for
the
the
same
ones-
profession. He did it in Llano. He did it for 6 years. Every year and now it's coming in on its own, so he didn't have to do it no more. And you're talking bent grass. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, it's just
It's very fast.
green, and that number's probably about $8,500, maybe 10,000 with sand.
Right.
But it'll solve a lot of problems. Even I just don't want to do this again in the spring. I mean,
Right.
Mhm.
so he's going to be here in 2 months. He's going to get more tests, see where the nematodes are, and then December, January, February is where I really got to keep that spray on there and keep them at
Come at
bay.
bay. Okay. So, I think we went off track there,
No,
but
that's
we're at
fine.
number 2, yeah.
So,
So, yeah, so part of where that money's gonna be going to, as far as the maintenance and the upkeep of the greens and all.
so number 2, raising the capital contribution fee to $2. Anyone wanna make a motion?
Almost.
Second by Mr. Rodriguez.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. So, Coach, that'll be you going to council
Yeah.
to.
Our next, yep, so just kind of give you a timeline. We present budget the first week of August. So that's why I was kind of in a hurry to get this in case we don't meet in July. That way we present this I'm gonna present this first week of August. So then by the time it goes, so you look at it September 1st for this to start kicking in.
Okay.
All right? So just to kind of give you a little timeline.
Okay, so number 3, handicap restrictions for cart use without proper documentation. Is this becoming an issue?
It has. It's very hard for my pro shop guys to tell somebody like, you're not handicapped, so it turns out that it's almost like the person sees a kid telling them, well, what do you know? I my back hurts. Well, yeah, but
It's an honor system thing, right?
Yeah, it's an honor system thing. But, if we could say like, well, per city of Laredo, that's kind of what we wanted to get to a point so that it's not my pro shop guys being the bad guy, right? It's, hey, you need to come with a documentation. The documentation gets turned into the city, and then hence you get, every time you come, you get we used to do flags, right? But now we GPS and all that stuff, you can just set the cart to be handicapped because we do have some people that take advantage of it. And it's hard for the guys at the pro shop to be the police and the bad guy at the same time because they get yelled at and
So these folks are coming in saying, I'm handicapped, I need one cart?
No, they want their cart put on handicap so that
Go all
they
the way-
can go.
drive all the way
They
up to
can
the
go
green.
everywhere?
Yeah, they
Pretty
can
good,
drive
good.
everywhere.
And then I'm
Right next to-
gonna ride with you.
Yeah, and that's problematic. For
And
everyone
people are
else.
abusing that?
For everyone else, it's what, 50 yards from the,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
perfect.
yeah. And it's just to keep it from getting out of hand. So now it's not up to the cart guy the pro shop guy to be the guy to say like, okay, let me put you on handicap. It's like, oh, you don't have the paperwork. And we have it here. We have a folder here. You turn in your paperwork, the city, okay, everything, good.
I think it's fair to ask
So-
that.
How do other courses do it?
That's my question. I didn't think others.
Laredo's a little different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If someone comes from out
I'm
of
curious to
town-
see how others handle that because I think we should
If
be.
someone
around
comes from
that.
out of town, I mean, they don't have an opportunity to do that paperwork.
Well, they can bring their cart handicap at that point, they
Okay, well,
have.
we just need other.
Yeah, that could be the backup, right? Like, hey, I just became handicapped. unfortunately, 2 weeks ago. I don't have the paperwork here, but look, this is my thing on my car.
My mom's handicap.
Well, you know, that could be
Police
it.
everything, man.
But it's just to keep some people honest, right?
As long as they don't get on the greens, right?
Yeah, and that's the problem.
They're getting
you know?
close.
They're getting close.
Yeah. And what about age? I mean, like, is age becoming I mean, should we put something at a certain age? I mean,
That's something that.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know. No, not to ride a car. But to
Get closer to the green.
I mean, because there may be. I mean,
Yeah,
let's just say there may be someone who's, let's say, in their 70s, they're still playing golf, and
Right.
you know, it's a lot for them to go out there and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Dave, what are your thoughts?
I think we should table this and come back.
Okay. Yeah, we'll table this one. This one's a little.
Can you maybe give us some, what other courses do?
I'll call some other courses.
Yeah,
I think that's, you know.
just comparative.
I'll call the
Consistent, I
Valley
wanna
because
know.
the Valley's a lot more like this Laredo and San Antonio. San Antonio's like they got so much play that they can tell you no, and you don't come back then.
We
You can't.
hear.
Rules
no,
are rules.
No, you
We
can't.
can't hear.
You know, corporate when they first come down, they're like, well, why don't you just do this? Like, you don't understand. You know.
Let's just table this and we'll take a deeper look into
You do
it.
that.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
So are we
Yeah,
tabling
we're gonna be
discussion?
You still gotta make a motion to table them.
Yeah. Motion to table?
Motion table.
Oh,
Yeah, one, second.
second.
All in favor to table?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
He
unanimous?
didn't have his handicap stuff yet.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's go on to the next item. It's item 4. Propose a $5 extra fee for the use of single driver golf cart.
Yeah, so this became an issue with COVID.
Yes.
And now that we're out of COVID, everybody still wants their own cart, and I understand why. They play faster, right? You get your,
Correct.
Right.
but it wear and tear on the golf cart. You know, hence why we're at right now with the batteries. And we only usually have to buy maybe 10 tires towards the end of the lifespan of the lease of the carts. Now we're having to buy, we're already like on 24 tires. Why? Because one person per round eats up your cart. So the idea was, you come in, you're more than welcome to use a single cart, but we're gonna charge you an extra fee. $5 is almost a little low, but it's still better than nothing.
That doesn't have to go to council, because that's operations.
Yeah.
That money
That's
is
on the
not.
low end, so I don't think there's,
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with that.
I mean, if you wanted to have
Yeah,
your own cart,
But if it's
a threesome, then no.
Oh.
So the only way we would circumvent all that was instead of our fees, because our fees are kind of weird, they've always been like that, it's just $45. What's included in there, your cart's already included. There's no breakdown of the fee. So that we could maybe go ahead and start breaking down the fee, golf cart. It gives you the option to walk, which the max is not very easy to walk because it's more of a resort course.
Correct.
You do it every once in a while.
Yeah, every once in a while.
That's brave.
When I was younger.
Yeah.
No, it is tough to walk that course, but I mean sometimes if the wet, like in the fall,
Yeah.
very nice to walk, and you get a little exercise out of it too. I mean,
Mhm.
it's
A
kind of
little.
fun. Yeah, a little bit of exercise. Yeah,
It's about a 10-mile trek.
You know, you start to appreciate the pros walking 4 times a week, right?
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we were going at. Maybe we're gonna change the way we charge so that people can see that our green fees are actually super cheap. Even though they're 50 on the weekend, you're still getting a card, you know, and the capital contribution and all that. But the green fee is gonna look a lot smaller. Now you can circumvent and say like, well, I'm gonna walk. I don't see that happen. I see it at the beginning, maybe a little bit of people saying, oh, I'm gonna walk so I don't have to pay the $18 fee for the card or whatever it is.
That's actually not bad because think of the savings that you're gonna have with wear and tear on your car.
Like, same thing. So it works both ways.
So yeah.
But I think Laredo being Laredo as we are, we're gonna ride. You know, it's too hot.
It's
I think the car fee should be $30. It's $25 to $30 anywhere you go.
It is.
Anywhere.
And what do we have in it?
Well, we kind of have it all together.
You don't
There's
break
really
it,
no
do you?
breakdown,
No.
and it's always
But
been
I'm
the
just
same.
saying. And
So
then that shows.
we can go down to Alamos City Trail. You see it, and you're like, "Ooh, $37.99. That's
Yeah,
super cheap."
it's
And they're like,
included.
"And the cart's not included. Your cart's $22 or whatever."
The problem, and just to go off what you were saying, sir, the problem with that is now there's competition.
Mm.
And when you have competition, what does that mean? It means prices go down, or they should,
Yeah.
unless, and I completely agree with this statement. We offer a better product.
Mhm.
We do.
Mhm.
But you have to look at all the other variables,
Mhm.
location, all of those things come into account. And so when you have competition, you mess with price too much. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
No.
saying?
No.
You
yeah.
can't. I mean, that's just from an economics.
No, and then if you look at our
Rudimentary
demographics, it's it's sometimes like they laugh at us at corporate, not laugh at us at corporate. They look at it like, how do y'all remain open? Because they have the demographics. Households over $250,000. We have courses in Colorado Springs. 87%. Laredo 0.001.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? How many over 75 retirement homes and all that stuff?
Yep.
0. You know, people live paycheck to paycheck even in their older years. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're waiting for that paycheck to go play. So when you mess with it for $1, they're like, hey, you know what I mean?
Of course.
So we get that also. You know, that's why $5. You know, this is just to maybe get a little more money in the fund, so when things break down and all that,
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. But
Have you gotten up on your pricing in the restaurant and the bar and stuff, or it's all?
we've started to a little bit because our costs have gone up.
Yeah.
You know, it used to cost us 92 cents a beer. We're at $1.17, $1.25, depending on the beer premium, and food costs are just, you know,
Crazy.
So, you know, it's a tactic that's been used through corporate America. Is you don't change the price of the burger, you just make it instead of an 8-ounce patty, a 6-ounce patty.
Yeah.
You know, that way the customer doesn't feel it. They might feel it in the difference of the burger, but at least they're still getting the same price. Because once you start raising those prices, like, and like I said, our demographics can't support that. You know, but
What do you charge for a beer?
depends what it is. If it's premium, it's $3.75, and if it's domestic, $3.25. We do run a lot of specials, which is 2 for $6, so it's under $3.3. Where now that you mentioned that, we just added 2 65-inch TVs to the bar. So as you're sitting, and we put stools now. So if you're sitting down now with football coming and all that, hopefully have people stay longer. But now we're gonna do happy hour from 6 to 9 because it's summer. $12 buckets, so that's $2 a beer. Which you'd say like, well, they're gonna, yeah, but we were never selling that beer anyway.
Yeah.
Because people were leaving, you know, because traffic and all that stuff. So this is gonna help people say like, well, I can still go play at the Max. I can stay there for happy hour, watch the game, and then go home after traffic dies down. Because
Especially on
traffic.
Thursday nights.
Yeah, several.
Thursday nights are gonna be big.
And they just added 2 more lights, so it's gonna be a little bit more. But I just talked to Coach. He sent me the electricians to put it, and we want to add 2 outside now, with football season coming in.
The
all
new ones
that.
look nice, the ones
Yeah.
that we just put in.
Nice.
So, just to have people stay there a little longer, you know, and spend a little more, but also so that they can see the benefit of coming and playing the Max on a Thursday or on a Tuesday, is that I'm gonna be able to stay for happy hour. We're gonna have a different menu, a little fried food menu more, so we don't have to pay a cook to be there all the time. Something that within the pro shop they can handle: buffalo wings, onion rings, cheese sticks, taquitos. Don't get hungry, but.
You have the same
Verna's
chef out there?
Yeah, Lorenzo's still there. You know, that's one of the things that's been helping is, I think we've had an event every day, every Saturday or Sunday, and sometimes both days for the last 6 months. It's just like either a Saturday or Sunday or sometimes both. April helped us with the baptisms, and then May was graduations. And then we just had baby shower after baby shower after baby shower after baby shower.
Too many kids.
And then comedian night, comedy.
Grandfather.
Oh, grab.
Hey, congratulations.
Mhm.
2 more weeks. It'll be the second one.
Second time you're
Nice, man. Okay.
But yeah, that's what is.
So the $5 fee,
Mhm.
so this would only be for if there's a twosome,
Yeah, and
if there's like, so if you're going there by yourself and you're a single, we do allow singles to play, right?
Yes.
They're gonna pay the,
Yeah, so that's why we're gonna adjust the price now. So now you're gonna have a fee, your green fee, your cart fee, and your your capital contribution, your
Yeah,
tax
full
and all
cart,
that.
half a cart.
So half a cart. So that way, the guy that says like, well, I'm a threesome, are you gonna charge that guy $5 for running the cart alone? Well, he's a threesome, he's not coming in and wanting his own cart. So now, if he wanted his own cart alone, he's gonna get it because of what it is, but if it's a single guy that comes along, well, it's a $5 fee. And I've talked to the golf courses and they're like, it's just a fee, Dennis, they have to pay it. I mean, that's the way we handle it. Like, you're gonna get the guy that tries to circumvent you and tell you all that. It's just a fee, but that's why we brought it here, so that we can put there per city of Laredo. You know, that kind of takes at least some of the pressure off the pro shop kids, because they do get a lot of,
so if you show up as a single, you don't have to pay the fee.
no, you're gonna pay your green fee, your half cart and all.
You're gonna pay the fee.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
yeah.
are gonna pay the fee.
The
So
half cart.
if there's a threesome, someone's gonna pay more than the other two.
No,
No,
it's
no,
only
no,
if
no,
you're a
half a cart.
twosome and you're like, I want my own cart.
You
Yes.
request to
Okay.
go.
So
as a-
what's the fee gonna be? Extra?
$5.
Extra $5 for your own cart?
For your own cart.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be like a single, if you're a single, you pay this much. If
No,
you're
no,
double.
yeah, I talked to a couple of Gorshes, they go,
Or there's people that, they have somebody that is not gonna play.
yeah, they just wanna watch like a wife or
I
something.
mean, they'll pay the $5. you know.
Mm.
Yeah, that works.
Most of
That works.
Yeah,
Also, just you might want to maybe give it like a 30-day window so to kind of give them prepare
Oh, yeah.
on time.
No,
like,
yeah, that's gonna be-
effective. No, don't start it tomorrow because you got
no.
But this is letting them pick their own poison, so.
Yeah, no, but that way we can give them a date.
No, it'll
effective
be-
this date. You know,
It was supposed to be for June 1st, but we didn't get to meet in May, but, so if we say yes to this, then we'll do it, let's say August 1st.
Okay.
Gives us a month to put it there. We'll put it on our wall. We can add it to our rotation on our videos on the carts and stuff like that. When you see Howland Engineering.
It's gonna hurt Rick.
Yeah.
We kinda like it when you drive around.
But it costs you $1.50.
Promise while we're.
Hey, pay the $5 for
Pay
it.
$1.50 a piece and get them out of your car.
No, y'all pitch in for Rick.
How do you police this though? I'm curious
Well,
about the.
right now, I mean,
along the
and
river there
it's,
where you can see
our
the
cart
river.
guys take a lot of the
We
brunt
did
because they're like, guys, we need to pair up, we need to pair up, we need to pair up, we
Yeah,
need to
start
pair
eating,
up.
man.
So,
The thing is, how do they know who's playing who? I mean, it could be.
well, the beauty of it is that when you see two guys driving off and playing together, then they'll go and ask them, hey, you know, but we'll ask them at the pro shop. Because we give them one key and they're like, oh, can I have another key? Right now, we just give it to them because we know we're gonna, so if we give him one key and he asks for another key and he only has two players that he paid for, or one guy, you only get one key.
I think it really dresses
Right,
it up.
and then if he says, can I have another key? Well, then the other guy, when he comes, pays, well, who's gonna pay the
So
$5?
if this guy goes, there's two from, this guy goes and gets his own cart, this guy paid $5 also.
Yeah, so eventually it'll be $5, yeah, so you're gonna get 10.
I hate to admit it, but I haven't been out there.
So, I mean, it's gonna be something where you're saying, are you playing alone or are you
Yeah.
playing? And how big is your group? There's gonna be a litany of questions that need to be
Yeah.
asked by the guys at the pro shop.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
It can get complicated for some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're even and they wanna drive by themselves.
And this problem is mostly during the weekdays, because during the weekend, the guys have to be on top of everybody because we run out of carts.
Correct.
So it's very rare, you know, it's like, okay, Paga had 27. Well, okay, give that guy his single cart. You know, but now Paga has the option, or the guys from Paga, hey, well, I want my own golf cart. Okay, well, it's a $5 fee. Now, we might not be able to give you that extra cart because we're full. We need carts.
Or maybe not on the weekends. I mean, let's not,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even,
Well, in the weekends, it's never a problem because everybody gets paired up. I mean, that's,
That's up to them.
You still
Yeah.
only do the foursomes on weekends?
yeah, for the most part.
During the week?
I mean, we can do 5. So it's empty enough to,
no reputable golf course allows more than 4 per group.
on the weekend.
On the
yeah.
weekends.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Ace of play would
Mhm.
be real slow.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to add this and put a date also if you're going to make a recommendation,
Yes,
Commissioner?
I'd say I mean, when is the first day or of the new should we do it the new fiscal year or should we
We
do
could
it
do-
as ASAP, 30 days? What
The
would
fiscal
you
year is October the 1st.
October 1st.
That's a good time to start.
We'll do it October 1st. That's fine.
October 1st?
Yeah, we'll start
Up to y'all.
letting people know.
Yeah, because that way everyone understands and that there's information going out there.
And we're also not only just gonna say it's $5, we're gonna put the reason why.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Because,
Alright,
you know.
So, as of October 1st, with the proposal of a $5 extra fee for the use of the single driver golf cart.
Mhm.
Any motions? I second it. All in favor say aye.
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 That's it. Now we get to Chris. Or no, not yet.
So we're done with items for discussion for possible action. So now it's up to
Staff,
items
staff
7,
report.
staff reports.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all want to start getting your lunch here because I don't feel bad eating right now. I have another meeting at 2, my brother.
Me too, have a train at 2.
There you go.
Ah, you guys.
Thank you.
Good, man.
been a while.
See it. All right, go put them in jail, okay?
Set me up.
Don't let them out.
Trying.
Before Chris
I don't
starts,
have an extra one, I got.
Me and Dave can share this, me and Dave.
let me introduce
Dave can't read anyway.
Not very good.
Chief Chris Menace. He's also an avid golfer. He's probably there more than Dennis. So I know one of the I know Rick Garza has always been bringing up about
Yes.
what's the safety when what happens. And he's not here.
Yeah.
So, but we will share with him and we'll share this information. Being that we are out there, what's the scope if something was to happen? what, how far is the response and all that. So we spoke to Mr. Pettis to come and kind of give us a presentation as far as the emergency action plan that we'll have out there. So again, feel free to come get your lunch, and Chris, it's all yours.
Thank you, sir. I'll wait till they get their food and then I'll stop.
I know you ate some on the road,
This is
dude.
good stuff.
Yeah, the cranberry chicken. You on a diet, Bruno?
No. Can you tell?
When you had that COVID, I forgot. When you walked in, I was like, why does he look so pale? How's the hip still? I pinched my nerve. I've been like 3 weeks. Haven't been able to swing a club.
Oh, really?
You're on the plate?
Pinch nerve, where?
My back. The sciatic thing was just.
Oh, that's the worst. Shit. You gone to a Rasta?
I went to Quig, he shot me, and then next week I go check an MRI if I
He was
want
playing in
it.
a manhole unsupervised.
Dennis, my handicap's
Done.
We'll have a 7-month-old man.
Oh,
So it's been-
there, I was wondering what happened.
And first kid too, so
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah,
it's just hard to tell the wife, going golfing, have fun
Mhm.
by yourself.
Yeah.
It's tough, man.
well, there's a lot of new technology out on the course. Now you can take them with you.
I
No, they have stuff for the golf cart. They have
Yeah,
stuff
they
that,
do, yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, no, I have to make it
Hey,
a
walk with us.
I have to make it a family affair, man. I have to do that.
They came out with a baby carriage that holds your clubs. So you're pushing the baby, but your clubs are connected to it, and you're just like.
Hello, Amazon wish list.
Mhm. Coach, it was only one per.
I know, Chris is on the dice, I'm being cursed. It's good. This is cranberry chicken. No, I've never seen that tasted good.
We're going to get started. Like on any emergency plan, I just want to start off by saying thank you to the coach for inviting me out here to help you guys out with your emergency safety plan. The main purpose of this, of course, is to keep everybody safe that's out there at the golf course. Whether you're a participant, whether you're an employee, there's things that we got to watch out for and things that we got to be mindful of. They asked me a couple of months ago if I would help them out with an emergency plan. We normally do this for a lot of different agencies around the city. We also do this for a lot of different departments and things like that. So we try to look out for different safety issues. The first thing we gotta do is just address what are some of the concerns, and then from that, we can come up with a little bit more detailed plan. Right now, I just kind of gave you guys an outline. I did a little PowerPoint presentation for you all. Like the coach mentioned, I am an avid golfer. I am out there quite often, probably at least every weekend. I do enjoy playing golf a lot, and there's a lot of things that we always gotta be mindful of when we're out there. So, not just for the participants, but also for the employees. So the objective, of course, keep everybody safe and have a safety awareness of the actual plan as to what the situations that we can deal with out there at the golf course. Because we want to have a good time, we want everybody to have a good time, but there's also safety issues you got to be mindful of. So some of the things is to create a guideline to promote both safety and health. We got also hearing conservation when it comes to that, because we got employees out there that are using different types of machinery that's very loud and things to that effect. Also, I recommend every year that anytime you have new employees, they do a safety briefing as well. It's very, very important for them to go over the safety issues. I would also like to recommend implementation of CPR classes and some first aid classes for your employees that are out there, because you never know when you're gonna have a situation. And as we get further into it, we're gonna talk about some of the guests and the visitors' orientation, just some of the things for them to be mindful of. I know everybody here, we're from Laredo, a lot of us, but there's some that come from out of town. Maybe they don't know if you go out there to the brush, you're gonna find something you don't wanna find out there. Because if you go out and look for your golf ball, you're probably gonna find a snake before you find a golf ball. So those are the things you gotta be, exactly, that's another issue we gotta be concerned about. So also to educate your employees that when we do have an emergency, who do you call? Of course, we know 911, but what's the response time for us? So your nearest response is gonna be, fire and EMS is gonna be located about 10 minutes away when it comes to EMS. For fire response, we do have a fire station within 2 miles, right there, Cielito Lindo. So it's pretty close by to you guys. So we can get there quickly. We do have paramedics on board for every engine that's out there. And then the EMS response is gonna be coming from Mines Road. The problem with that is gonna be traffic. We all know the traffic out there on Mines Road can be horrendous, and it delays our response every day when we head out there. Yes, sir.
There's, I think you guys have a station out there at Pinto Valle.
Pinto Valle, yes, sir.
Okay.
We do have a station right there, it's
Are
2611.
those guys emergency guys, or are they just drying hoses?
So we have both. We do have a fire truck out there, and they are paramedics on
Oh,
board.
that's right, real close.
It's real close, it's about 2 miles away. And then we also do have some other trainer, our instructors are out there, that's where our academy is at. So we always have about 10 instructors during the day from 8 to 5. So they're also there, they're also paramedics, they can also assist and help any major emergency that you do have out there for the golf course right there at Pinto Valle.
Yes. And Pinto Valle, if something were to happen, you would call 911 and they're dispatched from there?
They're dispatched automatically from Pinto Valle, yes, we do. The station is manned 24/7, 365 there. So
Yeah, and my hats
they're
off to you guys. I think 2 weeks ago, we had an incident, and not only did y'all respond, but all my firemen friends called me, like, hey, what's going on? You need help? So what happened was, a gentleman went out and played golf in the afternoon. He was diabetic. He didn't take his insulin. He didn't eat. So on hole 17, he fell off his cart, and people reported. Luckily, one of our guys just kept his cool head, went out there, took some ice and water and all that, got him up, and then you guys got there and took care of it. But it was fast. You know, but I was getting calls from 3 different people that I know, which was very comforting, you know, that I know what's going on at all times.
Yeah,
Who's
so,
by himself?
you know,
Who's by himself?
anytime
Who's with
we hear a
somebody-
call over
somebody
the
saw him on 16
dispatch,
fall off the cart.
we automatically know the area, know the location, especially the St. Max Mandel Golf Course. We're gonna be calling out there to try to see if we can assist, see if we can get more resources, because like anything else, the information that we have is critical to know what to send. Do we need to send additional units? You know, what's the situation? Is it a heart attack? Is it something that very serious? Is it a fire? Something to that effect. So just knowing the distance that they're gonna have to travel and sometimes the traffic. So with the emergency response, with EMS, you wanna get more units rolling right away than having to start piecemealing it. So, you know, you can give us good information right from the get-go, we'll send more additional units right away, which is very important. So, just so that we're on the same page.
And just to throw it out, let's say it's at a particular hole, they drive up, where's the?
Well, we had the 8-seater, so they took the 8-seater over there and they would bring them to the.
So somebody will meet them, somebody will be meeting them at the entrance or the?
No, well, they had brought the gentleman already from the.
Oh, you brought him in the
17
8-seater
On the
over.
8-seater, he was laying down in the back, the cart barn guys and the pro shop guys brought him over, and then they met him at the front of the course.
Dennis,
Yeah,
do we have defibrillators on site?
yes.
Okay.
We have right there in the clubhouse.
Awesome,
And
We
we,
do have an AED.
yeah,
awesome.
and we got trained, it's right before COVID, so I think it's time to,
We're offering first aid class and CPR with our next couple of weeks, you might want to send our.
yeah, send the guys.
And we can also offer that training to
Okay.
you all as well, not a problem. No issue with that at all. So, going back to,
What did it say, range on there? Somebody using range balls for the court.
what's that?
Somebody was using range balls for the.
So some of the safety risk that we do talk about is the wildlife out there. We do know that you're gonna encounter lots of times snake bites. Those are very serious issues, serious calls. Exposure to dead animals, exposure to wild animals as well. I know we have seen different types of wildlife out there that can be, if you go out there and look for it and mess with them, they can mess with you back, right, obviously.
Rick said there's a bear out there, no? Little bear?
Rick says there's a bear out there.
It's just a cat.
We've seen some bobcats, we've seen quite a few other stuff out there, right? So just being mindful of that. And then also is the weather.
Did you take off your shirt or what?
So the weather's another major
Yeah, just
one,
send
so
me
you do have severe thunderstorms that do come through Laredo.
Yeah.
That's something that just happened just a few weeks ago. We had a bad hailstorm that came through.
Oh, yeah.
Luckily, it was late at night. It could be during the day though, it could be at any time. So Laredo, the weather can change pretty quickly. We know it's normally dry, but it can change pretty quick and it can be severe.
Yeah, and our new golf carts have that boom, you know, warning, and it flashes on the carts,
Oh.
head in.
Heat deal?
Yeah, because there's a storm. So all of us have it, and we have it on our thing, an app that checks for lightning strikes. Anything that gets 15 miles away, we start pressing the button.
What does Spencer he's playing?
Well, you started learning
I'm
the
losing.
carts to come back in, but also sometimes they might get caught where they're so far out that what do they do then? So
Yeah.
that's where you gotta have some safety plans and measure as to where they shelter, how can they shelter, where should they shelter? And I put that down there as well, you know, if you're gonna have a lightning storm, thunderstorm, and you're caught in it, don't shelter underneath the tree. Lots of times people automatically say, well, let me go shelter underneath. You don't wanna do that, because that's gonna actually cause traction, because anything higher than you will cause that attraction to a lightning strike and things like that. We also gotta be mindful of the, of course, drought that we do have here in Laredo. It's normally hot, normally dry. We do get a lot of cool fronts that come through here, especially during the winter time, and that's when you're gonna have most of the time for potential for wildland fires. Everybody always thinks that the summer is the hottest time. It is, but it's also our wettest time of the year. So May and June, we get a lot of rain, and then September as well. Most of our wildland fires that we get, and grass fires, are normally gonna be during winter and during spring. That's when we have the biggest concern for wildland fires. So it can happen during summer, I'm not saying it can't, but it's less chances simply because of the amount of precipitation that we do get. So. The other main concerns that we do have though is heat stress. That's during the summertime. Of course, you're gonna have heat cramps, heat exhaustion, dehydration, and of course, heat stroke. If you could get your people trained up to at least be able to identify and be aware of the differences, because that's critical. Are they in heat exhaustion or are they in heat stroke? Are they just having cramps? So that way we also know, again, what are we gonna send to respond to help, to assist you all out there. I recommend that we can get some either ice, cool packs, things like that are easy to move, manage, take out there to your patients. And then how are you gonna get your patients from the golf course back to the clubhouse or location that we can meet you all there to help? And that's what it comes down to. So if you get your guys trained up, especially the employees, that way they're aware of it, it'll help out a lot.
So Chris, so you're saying that something happens in the golf course, for them to bring them in the cart?
If they can.
If they can, yes. If they can be transported, yes. If not, well, then we'll go out there. But that becomes another issue. Because I know there are some roads that can access around through the farm area right there when you first come in.
Yeah.
You can get around, but we can't drive through the actual golf course,
Yeah.
I guess, per se. We don't want to damage the golf course either. That's a fine line there of how do you get to a certain hole. If it's at the end over there by hole number, let's just say number 5 by the tee box, at the end of 4, that's a hard place to get to. There's a
Can we
small
get
little
to your
ranch
place?
back there in the back with a few, but do we know how to get access to it right away?
Right there, burn.
And then do we have access to it with the gates and locks and things like that? So time is of the essence anytime you have a medical emergency, heat stroke especially, a heart attack, definitely, anything like that. So just being mindful of those situations and how can we get them back? We do have a UTV, a rescue UTV that does have a stretcher that can get to some of these locations, but that's not something we dispatch right away. And that's where it's critical to know where the patient is at. Did they fall off the side? Are they inebriated? Did they, just fall down because some of the holes like 16, number 9, those, you can trip and fall and end up down there by the riverbanks. So those are things that we need to be mindful of. There are some access points, but we need to know where. So information is critical for us.
And as far as the heat is concerned, do we have a way to make sure that those water jugs at the holes are always filled?
Yeah, well, that's what we've been talking with David and all that, because during COVID, we had to not have him anymore. So it did help him. He loses a lot of manpower, because it takes 5 hours from them putting them and taking them, bringing them 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
So we're talking about maybe giving out waters, 4 waters per golfer, load up on the golf cart, and then you have a golf water. And it might end up being the same a break because of the amount he pays his labor per day, where sometimes we have 22 rounds a day, right? So this would be, we gave out $6 in water, So that way we know that they have water with it.
Yeah, I think that's great. We should, then we drop the price of the water.
And you never know, right? We've had times where we can't put out water because there's a boil in effect. So it's just gonna be easier, I think. So we don't have to be like, hey, we put out water, we weren't supposed to go take all the jugs back, and stuff like that. We'll have sealed waters right there.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of other golf courses and other locations, they give you at least, a couple of free waters in your little ice cooler with some ice, maybe a couple of towels there as well would be nice. I don't know if you can afford to do that, but it is something extra because lots of times when people get dehydrated, it's already too late.
Yeah.
They need to start drinking water early and often. If you're gonna play, that would be some of the things I would recommend that the staff say to the people. Watch out for the wildlife. Make sure you start drinking water right now. Don't wait till you're thirsty. Don't wait till you're dehydrated, because at that point it's too late. I can give you all the water I want, but lots of times it's just too late.
Can you send me this? Because we have the videos on the things, and I can just update some of these pictures there, so that as soon as they get to one, hey, hydrate.
Yeah.
Watch out for snakes.
Yeah, if you want to make a recommendation, every 3 holes, every 4 holes, or every 5 holes, drink a bottle of water.
Brought to you by
Hydrate.
Brought to you by Howland Engineering.
It's a good point. It's a good one.
Don't wait, hydrate.
It's true, and that's what we always say, because everybody, oh, now I'm thirsty, or,
Yeah.
there's other signs. Another thing I'd recommend, you can put the signs up in the restroom, of course, based on urine
How
color,
many
things like
minutes
that,
equals of
can
water?
determine how dehydrated you are. Those kind of things. So, and, we were talking earlier about some of the older folks that go to play, those are the ones that get affected the quickest and easiest, so you gotta be mindful of that as well. So. Things are a little slow. So some of the
Hey,
other
Bernard.
identifying safety risks that we talked about was the chemicals. I know you had mentioned that a lot of them are organic, which is great. Some of the older ones and some of the other times that we do use is pesticides, disinfectants, chemical substances that you do have. It can cause irritations, they can cause reactions, things like that. Also, the fuel handling of the actual tools and equipment that you do have. I know y'all do have some storage facilities out there with fuel. I got a couple of slides and pictures of those. But you just gotta be mindful of it, okay? Also, the river, you do have a cliff area there. It is a steep embankment. One slip, one fall, you're gonna have a pretty serious injury there. So just being mindful of that. Now, I put there your entrance. You are limited with the amount of access that you have. You only have one road in, one road out. That's your main entrance. So being mindful of that, that can be congested, which is right here, a picture of it. It's not the easiest to maneuver around, especially for larger vehicles, things to that being mindful of that. So if we do have emergency there, that's gonna be our one way in, one way out. As far as fire resources and connections, you do have a fire hydrant that's located right in the very front. There are several on the property, which does help us out. One thing is your FDC connection, your fire department connection. It is one connection. It is located behind this area that has a gate and a door. It should be open. I don't know if it is always accessible.
Yeah.
It's an extra hindrance for us
Yeah.
when we do have to supply it, or if we do have to supply it.
Yeah.
So just being mindful of that.
Okay.
That would be considered, it passes, don't get me wrong. It isn't compliant, but it is sometimes also a hindrance if
Yeah.
you do have a door blocking it, so. Now, the other day, I was there this past Sunday, and I know y'all had Paga there. You did have quite a few constituents parking
Yes, and
in
I'm
the
going to
fire
talk
lane
to you
there.
about that.
So, your staff needs to be the first line of defense, just letting them know. I know they're older, and I know they do want access up to the front. You do have certain handicap parking in front,
Yeah.
but some of the older individuals don't want to walk all the way up there, and then they park their car right there, and they block the hydrant that's
Yeah.
accessed.
I was going to ask if there's no parking from fire department, or what kind of signs can I put there?
Well,
Just
first
so-
of all, the curb can be painted red, no?
It is
painted
painted
red.
red.
It is.
It is
They
painted.
know.
It does say
They-
fire lane.
They do know.
They were in violation, but like I told you, it's one of those things,
Yeah.
you weigh your,
Goddamn
do you wanna,
bad
like you mentioned earlier, you can't tell anybody to leave.
Yeah.
You don't wanna play here because you don't wanna lose the people that do play.
Correct.
So there's a fine line there of meeting them halfway. I know when we first started back then, you did have people that would take the cart down to them, but then now you run into the issue with people keeping keys, people not paying. So, you have to weigh both sides of it.
Could we give out a warning? Do you have a sticker that we could put just so that they can start saying like, okay, they're doing something about it? Because we tell them and they're like, I'm coming back, and then they go back.
Do you have some pink stickers?
Well, the violation stickers is
Yeah.
what we have. It's a ticket.
You got an extra
Yeah.
box
Is
of
what
them?
it
Because
is, yeah.
the first like 2
The only thing
years.
that matters is enforcement.
Yeah.
This
Like,
is, I'm sorry,
you can
this
paint
is,
it red all you want.
if you go to
Yes.
most courses, there's a bag drop-off.
Mhm.
And that will alleviate, because no quieren cargar los bags all the way up there. Right? That, I mean, to me, that's, so if we can have maybe like a bag drop-off.
We could do it right there.
And right then just drop off and leave, and then, and put back drop-off.
We did it in the beginning, then people didn't want to do it or whatever, but we can do it back. We have the black.
I think I think that's one, it looks, it looks part of a classier golf course, and two, it will alleviate that problem that, let me go drop off the golf clubs, and then, it's just a little mental, and then they'll take off, and they'll leave the car there.
Why did you change from the downstairs where all the carts were down there and you'd pay right there at the little ventana?
We love that.
Well, why don't you do it?
Because that corporate and they want us to use the
It's
clubhouse.
not the clubhouse.
Yeah, it's not the clubhouse. I mean, we could see everything. We're up there, we're blind to everything.
That was a good look.
I liked it.
It's
As a matter of
easy.
fact, I got an idea.
And it takes care of a bag drop off and all that
becomes a
baloney.
nuisance.
I would love to.
Then do it.
Well, I mean,
Oh, that's not my call, that's your all's call.
There's a positive and negative to it. It's good that you can do that, but then you lose sales of other stuff that
Yeah.
when they go inside, they're there at the clubhouse, they wanna buy this, they wanna buy that. It's accessible to them, where you're downstairs, all you do is you pay a green fee, get your cart, and you're gone.
Yeah, but
Now,
I
they
buy
can
my
drive up
beer
there to the
upstairs.
golf cart, to the clubhouse.
I
And
do all
and that's
that.
what we're gonna talk, and like Chris says, that was the original reason why, but this, a budget coming up, we could kind of break it up, because our pro shop and our F&B are kind of intermingled to save money on labor.
Yes.
So now we could say, okay, this is gonna be F&B only upstairs, and we'll have the pro shop charging, not the pro shop, because all the shirts and everything have to be upstairs, there's nowhere that.
Of course.
And that might be where you pay and you go. The only problem is that, there really isn't a problem, is now we have iPads. So we'll have to keep fridges and everything with sodas in there, so that, because that is a point of sale right away, like, hey, I need a ball. Well, they're like, I don't wanna go back upstairs, bring me a ball. So we're gonna have everything down there like we used to, we
Good.
could. But again, it becomes a labor issue, because now you're gonna split them up. Now you're gonna have, so,
The other option would be to have somebody take your clubs out of your car and put them on a cart and do it for you, you know, that's more.
I don't
labor.
think the price point's there for
I
that.
don't think it's an issue.
Yeah, you have a point there.
yeah, it's,
Yeah, the
it's,
price point, not for that. I mean.
Or
that-
you
that's-
can
that's
try
a-
on your busiest days,
Mhm.
just try it and see if it
we'll try
works.
the backdrop, because that's the fastest way to kind of go about it. And then, once I get a chance for October 1st, I'm gonna say, hey, this is gonna be the budget, this is why we're gonna budget a little bit more. And we'll see what, the powers that be say.
Have you really put a pencil to how much less you're making if they're downstairs as opposed to being upstairs?
We got to do it during COVID. It's a lot less. Like, well, the restaurant was closed, so there was not like they could go upstairs and eat anyway.
Yeah, so
But
that's not really
our
a
food
good
and beverage
test.
sales would definitely hurt a little bit.
Convenience factor is off the chart there.
I always, to me, honestly, I would rent that out to a restaurant, a real restaurant.
Upstairs.
No, right there, like a Palenque grill.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then move everything downstairs to the pro shop. And they would still sell shirts and stuff like that, but it would be a restaurant on its own. And now the golf is just a golf.
Mhm.
And then the upstairs would become a rental facility for events. It's a lot to handle with the short staff that we have. We have weddings, and then we have tournaments, and then we have a restaurant, and it's
crazy.
it's crazy. And we got about 20 employees, including his staff.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
So, Chief?
you gotta get back
It's
to
working, it's
work.
good. No,
Safety,
no.
safety.
It's good
No, man.
conversation, because in the end, it's all about safety. It's about customer service, which is very important. That's the other half that we were talking about right now is, higher end courses, nicer courses, it's better customer service. When you go to bag drop, there's somebody there who receives you, who tells you your card number, and then you can always verify whether they paid or not. I mean, there's other ideas, it's
Yeah.
just a matter of, but if you have the manpower and the staff to do it, then it's easier. You got that checks and balances we were talking about just earlier about your keys, your people, who paid, who didn't, who's picking them up. I mean, those are things that you can consider as a committee.
Yeah.
But convenience is always nice. Customer service also plays into that. And then what your sales on your food and beverages is important. Some of the other potential hazards that we noticed, like I mentioned, was the lock gate or door right here, that's our access to connect to the standpipe. And then also for your carts, your storage and stuff, all this electrical outlets and things like that, you gotta be mindful of. Any issue there, we've had and seen other places where golf carts do catch fire. Anything with electricity, batteries nowadays, they get thermal runaway, you end up with issues, problems like that. And then your fuel storage areas here. They are bouldered, which is nice. They do have the protections so no vehicle should hit it. And although they're kind of isolated and protected away from the main roads and stuff, but they are still considered a potential hazard for us anytime we look at it like that. One of the other potential hazards that we were identifying, of course, is, I know y'all do have an event center. You do have an area upstairs, which is nice. But of course, like anything else, you sell food, beverage, people have a party, they like to drink. These are also potential hazard areas where people could slip, fall, trip, any of those things. So being mindful of that as well. And then, of course, like we said, selling food and beverage, how much are you selling them before they drive back home on the road? So those are things to consider when it comes to safety.
That's
Because it's liability and it's responsibility on the city's behalf. And
yeah, or when we take our TABC exam, that's the first thing they drill into you. And we drill it into our staff, and there's other golf courses that sell a lot more beer and alcohol than we do, but they're closer to the city. But I always tell the staff, I'd rather have my conscience clean. I want you guys to have your conscience clean. But not only that, you can get in a lot of criminal trouble for providing alcohol to somebody that's, you shouldn't have anymore. So that's one of the things that I really talk to my staff about. I go, just an extra $12 in sales because, you know, it's not worth it.
It's not worth the risk, not worth the liability
Well,
that goes along with it. Any of those-
You guys have never overserved me there before, so.
No.
And he says that with disappointment.
But it's also, you know, consider, so when you go out to play a round of golf, it's 4 to 5 hours.
Mhm.
You know, they might load up their ice chest, they go out and they play, they're drinking, enjoying their time. I mean, that's what it's about. But, you know, then they come back to the clubhouse, like you said, maybe stay a few extra hours, watch a football game, which is great, but that's where you gotta really be mindful.
Yeah.
But they've already been out there playing, drinking, sweating, dehydrating, continue on the party. You gotta
Yeah,
be mindful of that.
and luckily we have Fabiola on the weekends. She knows the guys for 20, 30 years, so she knows when they're to that point, she brings out little chips and everything just to get them to stop drinking and start drinking water and eating chips and stuff like that. So,
Any questions, as far as some safety other aspects that y'all are aware of? I know you brought up about the illegal immigrants and things like that. Those are things that you need to be mindful of, need to be cautious with, but at the same time, I don't know how we want to bring this up. It's a touchy subject,
Mhm.
touchy situation.
I do have one question on the response. Do we need that mailbox out in front of our place, don't we?
For,
So when you pull up, you know what chemicals I have
sure,
in
the
there?
SDS, yes,
Yeah.
I put that down on
But
the form as
it needs
well.
to be outside in the
It should be
mailbox and then
outside.
posted.
Yes, it should be outside so that we know what chemicals that you do have in
Now,
place. and
should his facility be in ours or two separate mailboxes?
It's one facility, it's one location, one address.
So I can
As
use.
long as we know, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever SDS that you have, any information that you can give us for any of the chemicals that you do store or house, would help us out.
Okay.
Tremendously. That's what I have for you guys.
Any other questions,
thank
y'all?
you, Chris.
Yes, no
All
problem.
right, thank you.
On to the next item. Thanks, Chief.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, items for next meeting?
Before you go on there, Mr.
Yes,
Chair,
sir.
just real quick, Dave, you want to just kind of give I know we had some questions real quick on the golf course. I know a couple of you guys had a couple of questions, I mean, before you want to ask Dave before we close it up. Who was it?
I mean,
Well, we
I
were
have
talking
one.
about
I have
the-
one.
go
As far as a timeline and as far as, you know, when the greens are gonna come up to a certain level, what are your thoughts? What are your predictions?
All but
realistically?
our 18's pretty much back. I mean,
Okay.
it's 85%. You can put a pin anywhere except that back left corner.
Okay. I don't want it there.
That's true, right? If we do some plugging, I'm thinking a couple weeks.
Okay.
If we do sodding, a month and a half. Like one's gonna take a little longer than the other ones, but we needed to get that big. We didn't know how it was gonna come back in.
I know we get a lot of rounds in the fall. Do you figure by the fall?
Oh, no, I'm thinking 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
And we won't be complaining about, I will be, but y'all won't be complaining about it anymore.
The novice won't notice
No,
anything.
I'm just saying, you'll be able to putt and do that sort of thing.
3-putt, 4-putt.
Because you top dress, is that correct? You
Aerified top
aerified
dress.
and top, somebody asked, I think you asked Mr. Dick,
Yep.
y'all aerified and top dress?
Yeah, remember last time you were gonna put chemicals in it instead of air in it, remember?
That's what we did.
You did both?
No, the airification that I wanted to do was huge times. We couldn't even have done it. I barely was able to do this because the roots are so shallow.
Wow.
Okay, yeah.
My next year, I want to aerify 3 times, just because of our silt problem. And the disruption in a healthy green won't be nothing on a healthy green. But they're all starting to come around. I mean, just those four ones that we had
Yeah.
probably last year.
You got good rain, right?
Yeah, we got about 5 inches.
5 inches.
Wow.
Yeah.
We got hail, and sometimes people
Oh,
thought it
it
was damage
shredded
again, but
worse.
the hail was so big it
Yeah.
left a.
We had to roll the greens and.
You know, our greens don't get hit by golf balls very much because we don't have very many good golfers. But the hail got us.
But this program we're on, and then that's where I talked about, possibly overseeding, to try to maybe just prevent any of this.
Loading, right?
I think it took us years to get to where we're at. I think it's gonna take us a good year to get out of it with what we're doing. Because it's a process, every 14 days. I'm doing it every week right now, then it'll go to every 14 days. Then you start changing up with your granulars and then your acids. The acids are
What
for the
happened to the
salts.
idea of putting a little?
So you do acid
casita
plus and you do a foliar spray.
driving range.
Yeah, that's
Is
what
that gonna happen or no?
Well, we're gonna.
And then,
do a,
and then the upcoming
one of our
stuff,
little
that's
carts.
where I'll start presenting what's coming
like a
up,
little,
what's
yeah,
gonna happen in
yeah.
5 years, what's
We're gonna put
gonna
up, see how
be.
that works first.
So we aren't surprised by it.
So in 3 weeks, we're gonna see better greens.
By tomorrow, you'll see better greens.
It's a daily,
Every
it's
day
changing
it's
daily. And then our other 14 greens
So
are,
in 2 weeks,
2 weeks, you might have some spots and we'll probably plug those or go get another pallet of sod, just depending on what we do.
okay. Good deal, good deal. So we're
We gotta
good.
blame it on something.
You can blame it on me.
When we miss a button.
Anything the committee wants for next any action items or anything that we want to cover for next year, for next week?
golf carts.
The handicap restrictions for the golf carts,
All right.
that was tabled. And also the capital contribution fund, under what specific circumstances are we allowed to dip into that $35,000?
List.
Okay, so and it has to be very much a list, a kind of like limited powers or limited situations when we are able to dip into that money,
Right.
you know?
Okay.
Maybe like a necessary and proper, anything to have to deal with these things, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, just
Yeah.
And then the new golf carts, just so we can talk about it.
new
And
golf
what
carts.
about
Yeah,
this?
there's a,
New golf
The
cart.
water out
we'll
there.
work on it. Yeah, I think there was a,
Just a couple of handouts.
it's just that we have to sign, we won't get them till next May,
Okay.
but
We gotta sign ahorita.
sign ahorita, just, well, I can sign it. It's just gonna be like, we want 75 carts, white, this, so that they can already put us in line. And then obviously when it's time for financing and all that, then you guys have to sign it, city
So
manager.
it's gonna take a year, you sign now, and then it's gonna take a year to get them.
Yeah, it used to be, we would do this 3 months before, but with the way things are due to COVID.
That's what we did last time. We did it in July and in October we had them.
Mm-hmm.
So tentatively, we're gonna have new cards
In May.
by
May of next year.
May of 23.
Sounds good.
That does it, right?
I think that's it. Anyone want a motion to adjourn?
Yep.
Levine?
Yeah, let's adjourn.
Second by Mr. Rodriguez. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we're adjourned. Fantastic.
Ahora sí, ya